You are now listening to the War Report Podcast Network.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the College Loop Podcast. I'm Dylan, able to take on Twitter. Talk to you today in the latest Auburn athletics news as transfer portal is still running heavy right now for the Auburn Tigers. They are now up to 39 portal acquisitions during this cycle. And, of course, finally in the net positive, lost, I believe the number is 38 players to the portal this offseason, and have now finally crossed over that threshold to get into the positive, which, again, we have been on fire the entirety of the transfer portal class. I have been on record saying how I don't think there's been a single real miss in terms of, just overall talent acquisition and guys who are going to be efficient for Auburn going into next year. Of course, the offensive line has been an overhaul spot for Auburn, as well as a few choice positions. Of course, positions like quarterback, picking up 3 quarterbacks in this portal cycle. And, of course, a 4th one, depending on how you feel about Hunter Herring, who we'll talk about in just a second. But, of course, last time Auburn sat at 35 players added after Derek Plaus from Miami announced his decision to transfer the Auburn Tigers. Now, 4 additional ones have announced their intentions. I'll kind of go ahead and run through those 2 before I get into the 2 who are going to be part of the main conversation of today. All right, first off, picking up Troy running back Tay Meadows, a running back out of, again, Troy, who ran for 695 yards last season, had 6 touchdowns, also caught 11 passes for 60 yards as well, averaged 4.4 yards per carry, adding him to a running back room where Auburn now has 6 total scholarship running backs, as well as adding it to the room of Bryson Washington, who ran for 788 yards last season, 6 touchdowns, averaging 5.1 yards per carry. Nakai Davenport, who ran for 612 yards for USF with 7 touchdowns. And, of course, adding in Jeremiah Cobb, who has announced his intentions to stay with the Auburn Tigers, who ran for 969 yards. So, as a room, you're looking at over 3,000 yards rushing in terms of production coming in. And, of course, you also bring back Omar Mabson. You're bringing back Alvin Henderson. You got an absolute unit of a running back room coming to the plains near you. And, of course, also adding in a good depth piece in Michael Matthews-Canty out of Hampton in HBCU. If I'm not mistaken, unless I think someone got confused with Howard, so I'll make sure I got that right. But 2 years of eligibility remaining. Last season, as a true freshman, 24 tackles, a tackle for loss, a sack, forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. Oh, correction. Freshman season, sophomore year, this past season, 78 tackles, 4.5 TFLs, and 2.5 sacks. And surprisingly enough, actually the first transfer Auburn has picked up that is a true linebacker, not an edge rusher. So a good pickup on that front. But tight end is the unit that has gotten the most attention this offseason. And I am not overstating that. Auburn now up to 3, 4, 5 tight ends added to the transfer portal, not even counting for the one that was signed via high school recruiting and not counting the one that will be that's already committed to Auburn for the next cycle. So tight end has been a big position of need for Auburn, especially after last season. You lost Brendan Frazier early, and now he's kind of, I don't know where the stock is for the NFL draft, but he wasn't really a part of the offense due to an injury to the later parts of the season. You had to rely too much on Preston Howard to catch the football, and it was too much to ask. Ryan G wasn't really ever given a shot last season. Hollis Davidson to the transfer portal, as well as guys like Camden Etheridge as well. So what did Auburn do? And of course, we talked about a few of these guys already. You picked up Xavier Newsome. You picked up Jonathan Eccles out of USF, Newsome out of Howard. Picked up Jake Johnson out of UNC. And then just yesterday, you picked up Hunter Herring and Arliss Boardingham out of Bowling Green and Hunter Herring out of ULM. So, again, I'm going to start off with Arliss Boardingham. Of course, played at Florida before transferred to Bowling Green. Didn't really get any playing time, but was given a medical red shirt. So giving him 2 years of eligibility for Auburn moving forward. 6'3", 250 pounds, and a receiving threat for the Gators, and again, just didn't really see any playing time with Bowling Green. And then adding again Hunter Herring, again a quarterback for the Warhawks last season, but played everywhere. 6'5", 230 pounds. Again, played tight end. He played quarterback. He played kicker. He blocked a punt last season. And yeah, I've seen a lot of comparisons to him with Taysom Hill. Of course, he's transferring to Auburn. He played quarterback at ULM, but he's transferred to Auburn to play the tight end position. So in totality, that is 5 total tight ends Auburn has picked up this transfer cycle. And of course, not even counting for the one in high school. So why did Auburn do this? Again, Golesh loves tight ends. It is a position of need whenever you're looking at his offense, multiple tight end fronts, and a useful Swiss Army knife of a position that you can use to block, that you can use to catch passes, that you can use to secure passes, which is what the tight end room is supposed to be about, is grabbing the ball and bringing it down with you. And he's done that. And again, I'm not sure exactly what the depth chart looks like. Again, guys like Xavier Newsome have a lot of potential. Haven't really gotten a full chance yet, but Larry Scott is fully on board with what he can grow into as a tight end. He recruited him as an edge rusher, but switched him to tight end at that front. Jake Johnson, again, more of a mixed bag there. Jonathan Eccles, again, kind of in between a passing threat and a blocker. But then you got guys like these two. And again, I don't know where Auburn really is going to put Hunter Herring, if it's just going to be more special teams for him. But again, I love the tight end position. It's one of my favorite positions to talk about. And again, it's a position that, as a football fan, just in general, I've never really got, outside of last season, had to witness Auburn have a terrible tight end room. Again, Rivaldo Fairweather I think he was a very good pass catching tight end. And go like before him, I mean, South Canella had some moments where he balled out, but, he had some moments where he didn't. But last season, it was an absolute joke, and Golesh knows that. The film will tell you that. There were drop passes galore, no matter what game it was. And, wide receivers were dropping passes too, but it was much more noticeable with the tight ends because they were just all over the place. And we were expecting tight ends to be a major, part of this offense under Hugh Freeze, because that's a position that he utilized a lot. But Alex Golesh across multiple teams has utilized the tight end room. And again, Larry Scott is a phenomenal recruiter, as we've seen thus far. But this room is going to be fun to watch, and I'm super stoked for it. Again, you got, outside of Hunter Herring is what do we say, 6'5". You have Arlis Boardingham at 6'3", Jake Johnson, Jonathan Eccles, and of course Xavier Newsome are all 6'5". Ryan G, I think, is 6'3". So you have a massive room right there of dudes that were all 6'3" and bulky. And what Auburn needs to do is refine the hands and actually get some catches passes caught from this tight end room. And again, biggest position of need, I think I put this one right up next to quarterback whenever I was ranking my positions of need for Auburn to attack in this portal class, because you needed some guy to replace the production that you wasted, or that Auburn wasted. I can't really say you wasted. Auburn wasted with Preston Howard. Yeah, Preston Howard was supposed to be this pass catching machine coming out of Maryland, and that was supposed to be his thing. Then he put on an Auburn uniform, and I just was dropping passes from week one. And even guys like Rico Walker never really got to really experience what he could do. And it was just wasted talent from, recruits in the Hugh Freeze era, and, you had Rivaldo Fairweather, but after Rivaldo, there was nothing else behind Rivaldo. And it's just been a big, nothing burger from Auburn since. And again, I mentioned Sal Cannella. Sal Cannella was a Gus Malzahn guy. I can't think of a tight end that was, making catches during the Brian Harsin era. So it's been since 2019 since Auburn really had a pass catching threat at tight end. But in between him and Valdo. So again, this was a position that needed to be overhauled, and I'm super glad that we've seen that happen. And again, Larry Scott has just been on an absolute tear. This whole staff has been on a tear. Again, almost 40 recruits through the transfer portal. And just kind of going through the total of that, Auburn currently ranks, and I know LSU has 40, which is a major number in and of itself, but Auburn currently ranks, sixth in total commits. Oklahoma State has 54, Colorado has 42, UCLA has 41, LSU and Arkansas tied with 40, and then Auburn sits there at 39. So a lot of transfers coming in. And again, LSU, I mean, that's all Lane Kiffin does is recruit through the portal. But I mean, this is a really, really good class. And it's not only just like taking quantity over quality. I really think Golesh got the best of both. I think he got quality and quantity out of this class so far. So yeah, I'm super stoked for everything I've seen so far. I would love to do more analysis on like the guys from the like smaller schools, like Michael Matthews Canty. Again, just kind of being the only real linebacker Auburn brought from the portal. Again, after losing guys like Robert Woodyard, and I believe there was another one that I missed. I don't have the list. I deleted that list because I was thinking more of a positive route going forward. But only picking up one linebacker. And again, you have an absolute unit of a linebacker core already with Elijah Melendez, Xavier Atkins, DeMarcus Riddick, and Bryce Diaz. So you have a linebacker room that, you know, is already deep as it is. So super stoked for this roster going forward. I would love to see the exact number of the roster Auburn has right now. I'm not sure exactly where Auburn stands in terms of other recruits coming in, because you can still pick up guys through the portal. There's no one else can enter the portal right now. So unless the coach gets fired, then that's different. But yeah, I mean, this again, I've been saying this for weeks now. I love the class Auburn has brought in. You can throw some shade all you want after 13 USF guys came to this roster, but since then you've gotten guys from Miami, Ole Miss, Oregon State, LSU, Notre Dame, Florida State, Michigan State, just guys all around the place. Baylor, UCLA, you're in Missouri. You're getting guys from around Power Four, but you're really building up your depth and getting guys who are really efficient, even in the G5 level. So again, I don't think there's been a miss thus far. And again, I think there's a reason for any recruit you got. Again, I don't think Hunter Herring is going to be running any offenses for Auburn at the quarterback position. I think you got guys like Byron Brown, who's going to be your starter going into this year. You have Tristan Tia, who's probably going to be your second stringer. Lachlan Hewlett's going to be your third. And then Rise out of the high school is going to be your kind of, redshirt him and kind of see what he can do going forward. But yeah, I'm super stoked for this class so far, which it is worth mentioning that we are only or a little under 2 months away from spring ball. Jarris McIntyre posted the spring calendar, I think yesterday. So I'll go ahead and kind of get into that. Going to have practices starting on March 17th and going to go on every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. So you have the 17th, the 19th, and the 21st, and then the next week, 24, 26, and 28. And then the 31st before you get into April. Then the 2nd, not on Saturday. So that will be the 4th. So not on the 4th, but the 7th, the 9th, the 11th, the 14th, the 16th, the 17th, and then 8A at 2 o'clock on Saturday, April 18th. So big time for Auburn right there. And again, I'm going to get super stoked for 8A whenever it gets back around the corner. Again, 8A is going to be back to a normally scheduled spring game where you're actually going to have probably an orange versus blue team going against each other. Hopefully, I would love to see 1-0 versus 1D and then 2-0 versus 2D. I think it works a lot better that way, getting an actual use of your talent, especially now that you don't have to worry about portal poachers going forward, which apparently you still have to worry about that at Ole Miss. So, again, I'm super stoked for this upcoming season. Again, my sights are not super high. I'm not soaring to the 10-2, 8-4 record quite yet. I'll be very happy if Auburn can get there, but get me to a Birmingham Bowl, get me to a Music City Bowl. Let me go spend a weekend in Nashville, and I'm going to be super stoked. But this transportal class, you're on the right track when it comes to it. You got an absolute unit of a running back room. You got some big tight ends Offensive line, you lost a lot of depth and you picked up a lot of depth. Quarterbacks, you have revised that entire room. Wide receivers, I think you got bang for your buck. You spent probably less than you would have taken to keep two of your guys from last year, and you got a whole room full of it. Again, I don't know if Auburn really needs too much more going forward, but again, depth does not hurt. Does not hurt in the slightest going forward. So super stoked to see exactly what this roster ends up fully looking like. Again, I don't think the roster's been updated, but I imagine it will be before March, before spring ball starts up. So go ahead and start buying stock in Auburn and Alex Golesh going forward, because might surprise a lot of people. Again, this is a very, very good class. And it's good right now. It's good for 12th, according to 24/7. If you're looking at on threes, don't, because currently I think they take a lot into account for transfer outs, which I think it does as like a major disservice to, classes utilizing it. So yeah, Auburn currently number 12 per 24/7, which is good for, if I'm not mistaken, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th in the SEC, which still pretty good. LSU and Ole Miss currently number 1 and number 2. Texas number 3 in the portal. Of course, probably a lot of that because they brought in Cam Coleman from the Plains. Ohio State, which has always been big time now as of late in the portal. And then 5, Penn State, picking up a lot of Iowa State guys. But I'm surprised that Virginia Tech isn't higher up. They're 18th after stripping Penn State's entire roster from them. But yeah, I'm super stoked for this tight end room. Super stoked for this Auburn roster going forward. So that's pretty much it. I mean, Auburn picked up 5 tight ends, or picked up 2 tight ends this weekend, and again, just absolute big time. So we're gonna quick little break. Other side of this break, we're gonna talk about some Auburn basketball as they get a big time win over Florida, their first win in Gainesville in 30 years. So stay tuned. We're going to talk about it on the other side of this break.
Are you tired of having to rummage through just clothes after clothes after clothes looking for something to wear? Are you tired of your friends making fun of you for your terrible fashion sense? Well, do we have the shirt for you? Go to thewarreport.com, get your laptop out and do it right now. Go to the shop and get your very own Feelin' Loopy t-shirt as well as your college loop hat, and you can get both of them for only $25 each. Plus shipping and handling, of course. But with that, now back to your regular scheduled program.
Of course, you can get that merch on thewarreport.com. Go to the shop, get your very own college loop merch today. And of course, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe on your way down to the link in the description for that. As we get ready for our next big milestone of 2,000 subscribers, hoping to reach that milestone before the end of 2026. I think we're on a decent pace right now. So go ahead and like, comment, subscribe down below. As we get ready for Auburn basketball, I'm going to go ahead and go through some of y'all's comments. Got a War Eagle from War Eagle G27. War Eagle, back to you, my friend. Jake Johnson reminds me of Luke Deal, which I could see that a lot. Luke Deal, a big body guy who liked a good blocker and, had some pretty nice hands. I think Jake Johnson can kind of bring that same level of production that Luke Deal did. Again, I guess I was forgetting about Luke Deal a lot in the middle of that, but again, not really a guy who lights up the box score as well. Are you wearing your orange jersey in honor of the game yesterday? Yes, I am. I specifically looked for it so I could wear it for today. And then, were you born when Auburn won against Florida, which Auburn won that in 96? I was not. I was actually born in 2000. So I am a nice 25 years old. So first for everything. Again, Auburn finally broke one of their longest streaks that they have. As an athletics program, beating Florida for the first time in Gainesville in 30 years, which, again, I'm still waiting for Auburn to beat Georgia on the road in football so I can finally get over the fact that they've not done that since I was in kindergarten. I'm waiting for Auburn to finally beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa, which hasn't happened since I was in 4th grade. I'm still waiting for Auburn to beat Alabama, which hasn't happened since my sophomore year of college. Again, it's just a whole lot of droughts that I would love to be over with, but glad this one's finally over with. Keyshawn Murphy ending off with a bang, trying to get himself chewed out by Stephen Pearl on his way out. But a big time game from a lot of dudes. Auburn had 4 players score in the double figures. Of course, Keyshawn Hall, who was a celebrity letter holder today for Auburn women's basketball after their tough loss to Oklahoma, which can't be mad about that loss for them. I mean, just a 7-point loss to a very good team in Oklahoma, a team that just, if I'm not mistaken, just beat South Carolina just a couple like days ago. So big, not a, I don't say big time loss, but a very like good loss for this team to have. But Keyshawn Hall, 24 points, 8 of 17 from the field, shot 3 of 5 from the 3-point line, and 5 of 6 from the free throw line, which Auburn didn't really shoot a lot of free throws in this one until really the end of the game, which as a team, they shot 90% from the free throw line, which is absolutely insane to think about for them. After Keyshawn Hall, Keyshawn Murphy with 16 points, shot 5 of 9 from the field, 6 of 6 from the free throw line. Also adding in 9 rebounds, which led the team. Right behind them, of course, Keyshawn Hall had 7 rebounds. Then you had Tahad Pettiford, 11 points, 4 of 10 from the field, 1 of 4 from the 3-point line, and 5 rebounds, with also a little bit of taunting going on to the Florida fans, which I absolutely adore. Kevin Overton with 10 points, 3 of 4 from the field, 4 of 4 from the free throw line. So that's 4 of Auburn starters right there that all, out of those 4 guys I just mentioned, only 1 free throw missed. Sebastian Williams-Adams, the last starter, 5 points for him and 2 rebounds as well. Elijah Freeman, 6 points off the bench. And then Philip Jovic, 4 points off the bench for him. But again, big time win for Auburn. And only 9 turnovers to Florida's 11. You didn't beat them in rebounds. Again, Florida's a very tall team, especially when you have a guy like Alex Cundon, who Auburn held to only 1 point, which is insane to me. That a team as small as Auburn's able to do that to Cundon, who absolutely tore Auburn a new one last season on multiple occasions. And you had more points in the paint. You outscored them by 10 there. You got 9 steals. You had the lead for 37 minutes of the game, which is, again, insane. Florida's a very good team. They are a very, very good team. And Auburn pretty much had their way with it for a long portion of the game. And, of course, Auburn had an 18-point lead. It was 43-28 at the half. And, good Lord, Florida went on an absolute run, got it tied up, and, I mean, just turned it back around, which, again, is what you want to see from a team like Auburn has been this season. Auburn currently now on a 3-game win streak, and you got some tough ones up ahead during this last little stretch, or this first big stretch of the season. But it's 76-67 win over a very good Florida team, getting revenge for last year's team. And it's something that I love to see from this Auburn squad. We suffered through that Missouri game. We suffered through that A&M review that happened. Georgia just had their way offensively. Auburn could do nothing defensively against them. And then you've had 3 games in a row now where you've held your opponents under 70 points. And again, just finding ways to win. That's what you want out of this Auburn team. They're not as, I don't want to say they're not as good, but definitely as a team, they're not as balanced as last year's team was, where they had guards who could, score, and they had a front court that could lock it down. I mean, Auburn had 4 NBA players on last year's team. Janai Broom's out there scoring 50 in the G League. Dylan Cardwell is currently on a list to win Rookie of the Year, which never would have expected that in a million years, but by God, I am super excited to see what he can do in the league. I mean, Sacramento now knows Dylan Cardwell's name, and, he's their Jumbotron man now, which is absolutely awesome to see. And, you're not as tall as last year. Keyshawn Murphy is your biggest dude at like 6'10", or even maybe in 6'9". So you're finding ways to win. You've done that the past 3 games. And up next for you, you got Texas on the 28th, which is going to be another big opportunity for you. Again, people are starting to doubt Auburn a lot, which, again, Auburn over the past few games has kind of given them reasons to do that. But getting on a streak like you are right now, I mean, Tennessee on the 31st is going to be a tough one. It is going to be a tough one. They're going to be on the road in Knoxville, and then you got Alabama, Vandy, and Arkansas on a just a 3-game span, all within a week of each other. So you got some tough games ahead. But again, when you got guys like Keyshawn Hall who are just lighting it up, again, and I see your comment, Wargo G27, I do think you need to kind of loosen up the turnovers a little bit from Todd. But just having moments like he had where you could just shut the crowd down. Again, Florida is a very hostile environment, and they're that in every sport, even gymnastics, which Auburn had to – Auburn gymnastics, sadly, unable to climb that mountaintop of beating Florida in gymnastics, even though they had a very decent show for this past Friday. But I'm super stoked for what Auburn has done thus far over these past few games, and I'm hoping they can keep it up. Getting ready for Texas again. A win versus Texas gives you a good shot at being tied for first in the SEC. If you can get that win again, I think I saw someone say if Auburn had beaten A&M and that buzzer beater had counted, Auburn would be tied for first in the SEC, or tied for second at the very least. Which A&M is currently 6-1. Which, yeah, I guess you would be tied for first. It'd be A&M's second loss. So yeah, that sucks. But yeah, I think Auburn can't. If you can get another big win versus Texas, I like your. I don't say I like your chances, but I like that you can be more competitive versus teams like Tennessee and Alabama too. You got to play Alabama twice this year, despite them having NBA players on their roster. But yeah, so Auburn basketball getting a major win over Florida. First win in Gainesville in 30 years, which is absolutely big time. Again, I mentioned Auburn women's basketball getting a tough win or getting a tough loss against Oklahoma, which they're on an absolute like terror right now. They beat number 21 Bama at home, went on the road, took a number 5 Vanderbilt, and took I don't want to say embarrassing loss because that Vanderbilt team was very good, but they got their butt kicked in Nashville. Again, tough loss to Oklahoma, and don't get much easier after that because this Thursday they're taking on number 2 South Carolina, and then on February 1st they're taking on number 18 Ole Miss. So again, you talk about the 5-game slew that Auburn's got to go on, and men's basketball, the women's team is in the middle of it as well. And again, I mentioned Auburn gymnastics earlier, getting a tough loss at home to Florida gymnastics. So Auburn men's basketball able to pull it off. Sadly, we're not going to be here talking. I was going to wear my Jarrett Stidham jersey had they won, but sadly, Jarrett Stidham was unable to pull it out today versus the Patriots. But Carlton Davis now off to the Super Bowl. I think for his second Super Bowl, not mistaken, because he won. I believe he won with the Patriots whenever Tom Brady was there. So possibly, and of course, Derek Hall and Nehemiah Pritchett and Josh Bynes on the Seahawks. You also got Roger McCreary and Jarquez Hunter on the Rams. So Auburn players going to the bowl regardless. So big shout out to all Auburn athletes out there supporting or showing some love to the pros. All right, so that's pretty much all. I'll go through the comments and I'll go on here. Kind of a quick show. Not really anything really happening around the Auburn sphere. Auburn baseball getting ready to get started in February. Auburn softball doing the same thing. Just kind of getting some awards kind of pointed out. Auburn starting off in the top 10 in most, if not all, the polls, and showing off their uniforms. That beautiful, absolutely gorgeous baby blue jersey, which, believe me, if they can customize it, put numbers on it, I'll be the first one at the gate with the with the card, my credit card, asking for a Lark jersey if I can. But yeah, getting ready for those. Getting ready for Diamond Sports as well. So, kind of finish out with these conversations. What are your thoughts on Charles Biaco's comeback after entering the G League for three years ago? And do you think the NCAA should be more stricter on that situation? I think it's an absolute sham. And again, if I'm knowing the situation correctly, it was not the NCAA that let it happen. It was the Tuscaloosa Judicial Court who granted the temporary restraining order, which let him play for the time being. That don't feel right to me. And again, he went out there and he lost to Tennessee. So it's not like he made the team any better. I find it weird to do that. Again, if Jabari Smith wants to come back, I'm not going to ever say no to Jabari Smith. I won't say no to Walker Kessler. I won't say no to Charles Barkley if he wants to, if that we can do that. Sharif Cooper, bring back Reef, bring Denver Jones, bring back that whole squad. I'm not opposed to that at all. But yeah, it's a scummy thing. It really is. I don't think it definitely shouldn't be illegal, legal in the slightest what they're doing. Again, if you've played any level of professional ball, you should no longer be allowed to play college sports. And it's different for the guys who like went to the MLB straight out of high school and they get a chance to come back, and they can't play baseball anymore. Like that's the thing. They can't play baseball. Like J.R. Smith went to the NBA, played professional basketball, came back to college, and was able to play golf. That's fine. That is A-okay with me. I think that's fine. But to go play in the NBA or the G League, whatever he was in, and just not being good enough to be an NBA player, and you get on a college roster, your same college roster at that, I don't think that should happen. If that should be the case, you shouldn't be allowed to play in the what's the word I'm looking for here? Like the Power Four, you have to go down to the minors. I don't want to say. I'm trying to like basketball is such a weird like the NAIA, something like that. Wherever Julian Newman went to go play, that's where you should go. If you're not good enough to make an NBA roster, go overseas. Don't go into college. It's so weird. And it's even weirder that the Tuscaloosa Judicial Court was able to let it happen. Like that's not the NCAA should be all over this, but they've been put in a closet too many times by different lawsuits because the NCAA doesn't know how to run itself, and that's what happens. So that is to be fixed. I think it's absolutely scummy that they're able just to get a guy who's been playing the NBA for 3 years, G League or not. He was on an NBA. He had an NBA contract. Absolutely stupid. And to treat him like a hero, giving a standing ovation and everything is insane to me. Like treating him like he was like he had a 3 years worth of medical red shirts and came back after getting injured in 2020. It's disgusting. If you sign that contract, you should stay with the NBA. Don't violate the contract. Absolutely. You signed if college is not professional sports, then you should not be allowed to sign a professional contract with that sports league and be able to come back and play a sport in college. Again, it's different if you're like a rookie, I would say. Maybe the rookie contract is a little bit different. If you got drafted and you don't want to sign the G League contract because you want to play for an NBA team, so you take that another year and go back. That's something different. But you've been there for 3 years and you're able to come back? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And again, I don't think he should have been allowed to sign with Alabama again, even mid-season. Again, that's a guy I would transfer out so quick if I was on. I'm not. Thank God I'm not wearing crimson, but I would transfer out. That's my roster spot. I just lost minutes. I'm transferring. You tell me that you can just do this willy-nilly? And luckily, I don't think anyone else. I mean, I think there was somewhere else who like the temporary restraining order. So like, what I'm hearing is if Auburn wanted to be, scummy and cheat the system, see if who does Walker Kessler still want to play for the Jazz? They suck. I know he had a season-ending injury, which is different. But like, does Jabari Smith really want to play the Rockets? So I can come back to Auburn. He played a stretch 5 for Auburn this season. It's weird. It's absolutely weird. Ask Janai Broom. He's in the G League for his rookie year. I mean, bring him back. He is scoring 50 in the G League. Let him score 60 in college. It's weird. It is weird. It's scummy. It's cheating. I don't know what he needs to do, but as far as I'm aware, if I can think of something that should happen, if the NCAA can gain power back into this, they need to evict every single, strip Alabama of any win they get with them. That's what needs to happen. Again, it's cheating. It is absolutely cheating. And I know I'm not just saying this as an Auburn fan. and being upset about Alabama cheating. If I was a Kentucky fan, if I was a Syracuse fan, if I was a Washington fan, if I was an Iona College fan, if I was a Dayton fan, I'd be ticked that they can just do that. And again, through the Tuscaloosa judicial system, you can just offer the temporary restraining order. No, not if you're playing for a team that's ran by the NCAA. That's weird. If anything, you shouldn't be allowed to be on the court because that's an NCAA sanctioned team. It's stupid. It's stupid. I asked Ike Jones about this, and he said it's horse shot. It is. It absolutely is. It's cheating. It is cheating in every sense of the word. Strip any win they get with them. And again, shout out Tennessee. I don't like Tennessee basketball. You would have not have been able to tell the difference between me and me as a Tennessee fan whenever they were playing. I was actively rooting for Tennessee. I was singing Rocky Top every time they made a shot. And shout out their social media team as well. They tagged their G League team, tagged the G League team and said, y'all are next. That's awesome. Clown them. If you beat Alabama, clown them for playing with an NBA player. It's cheating. It is absolute cheating. Every coach is going to tell you that. The only coach that won't tell you that is Nate Oates. Only basketball coach is going to be against it is Nate Oates. Everybody else will tell you it's cheating. And what you're doing now is you're setting a precedent. If then somebody does not step up and do something about it, you're setting a precedent that it can just happen willy-nilly wherever it wants to happen. Say Steph Curry got tired of the Warriors. Sign back with Dayton. He got years of eligibility left. Jabari Smith has 3 years of eligibility left. Walker Kessler's got 2 years? Depending on COVID, I guess COVID year for him. It's dumb. It is the stupidest thing in the world, and it should not be allowed to happen. NCAA, if you were good for anything, be good enough to shut that down. Temporary restraining order from Tuscaloosa is insane. If anything, they should be able to shut down their basketball program. That's what they should be able to do. Yeah, football can't do it. Basketball can't do it either. It shouldn't happen. If you were just sending a temporary restraining order against the NCAA to get players from the pros to play for you, the NCAA should be able to shut down your program for the year. That's a year-long suspension from playing any games until he is off the roster. And you will be stripped of any wins that you get. It should not be allowed to happen. If this goes into March, they shouldn't be allowed to play. If they have a restraining order against the NCAA, they shouldn't be allowed to play in the March in the tournament. It's cheating. So punish them for cheating. That's what you should be doing if you're NCAA. Don't send them an invite to March Madness. No, absolutely not. I don't care if they're a 1 seed. I don't care if they win the regular season title and they win the tournament, which won't happen regardless. They should not be allowed to play in an NCAA sanctioned event if they are cheating. It's as simple as that. Put them on probation for 90 years. I'm okay with that. Every sport. Bama's AD is allowing this to happen. Punish all their sports for it. Shut down Alabama athletics for 10 years for it. But jokes aside, what do you do? Again, the NCAA is a joke of an organization. It has been for years. If you're good for anything, be good enough to shut this down. Because you are opening up so many gates. You've already did it once when Tennessee put you in a closet over that stupid lawsuit a few years back. You were setting yourself up the people are going to be, there might be some people upset with it. And I can only imagine it's going to be anyone associated with Alabama, the University of Alabama, Tuscaloosa. That's it. Shut them down. Shut them down. This should not be allowed to happen. It's the whole college is not professional yet. It is, I would say, even if it, never mind. It's not even that. College is semi-professional. You have now brought professional players into semi-pro. Weird and cheating. It's like saying say who's in the UFL right now? Any team in the UFL. Say someone from the Birmingham Stallions. Didn't make it to a NFL roster. So now he's playing for the Stallions. Now he doesn't want to play for the Stallions anymore. And he's like, let me get another shot at college. And goes to Tennessee. Just put them in there. And then they're like, okay, well, you can't play at Tennessee because you have a contract with a professional team. And you talk to the Knoxville Judicial Court, and they put a restraining order against the NCAA on you. So now you can play immediately no matter what. That sounds scummy. And I assure you, if it wasn't happening at Alabama and it was happening somewhere else, Bama fans would be ticked off at what's happening. It's cheating. Stop it from happening. Again, there's also has a lot to do with the fact that I don't know. Is NIL? Is it money? I wonder if it's money. If the G League isn't paying like NIL would. But if I see him in a Ford commercial, like I see like with the DeBoer and in a few months, I guess Alex Golesh for all these Bama players and whatnot, I'm gonna lose it. NCAA, I'm adding you. Fix your league. Don't let Bama play in the March Madness tournament with a professional player. Don't let them play any more games with an NBA player on their roster. Again, it's cheating. It's against the rules, and you're letting a local court put you in a closet. Not even a state government. You're not the U.S. government. You're letting a city in Alabama put you in a closet. Insane. Absolutely insane to me. So with that, that's basically my 2 cents on that matter. I hate it. It's stupid. It is the stupidest thing in the world, and I think everyone and their mother agrees with it. The only fan base that is not against it right now is Alabama. That is quite literally it. And if they're not upset about it, then they're the ones finding a way to do it, because I think there's already been one program that said they're doing it, that they already got a guy and they put a restraining order on him. Outside of Bama. I think there was another one. I can't remember which one it was, but it's stupid. Absolutely dumb. Fix it. Fix it right now. So we're going to go and get out of here. Todd Golden said that after we beat them, he said even he is on the court, they'll beat them. Does he really make them better? They couldn't beat Tennessee. And again, if he's still on the roster when they walk into it's the first game versus Bama is an L Arena. And again, as a former Auburn student myself, who was a part of the jungle, February 7th, 3 p.m., they're going to walk in the Noble Arena. And I'm going to go on and tell you, that's going to be the feistiest group of college kids in orange and blue you've ever seen. Insane. Just because you couldn't make it in the G League. I think he scored like 2 points in the G League. I can't even think of the guy. Spell his name right. I suppose Bediako. What was his? And again, just the fact that he played Alabama for 2 years and then left and came. I'm looking at a current college player, and I can go and look at his professional stats. That's disgusting to me. Oh no, you can't even do it on ESPN, can you? Insane to me. Insane. Fix it, NCAA. Fix it. Fix it. Fix it. Fix it. Or you are setting yourself up for a world of hurt by other schools doing this. And it's just going to be another example of you not having the power to control your own sports. Fix this yesterday. Insane. We are winning. We are better than them in the SEC rankings, but it's a clown show. Absolute clown show. But we're going to get on out of here. I want to thank everyone tuning in to Summit College League Podcast. Of course, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to the video. Let me know what your thoughts are on the Bediako conversation. You know, should he? Again, I don't even think I should really ask that. Everyone in the right mind is saying no. But, you know, let me think the Auburn tight end Overhaul. Who's your favorite transport acquisition Auburn's made this offseason? I'm going to say don't count Byron Brown. I think he's going to be the favorite no matter what. But who's the best portal acquisition that Auburn has made this offseason? Next time we get back, we're going to be previewing Auburn men's basketball in their next game up against the Texas Longhorns, and any updates to Auburn football we got going forward. So stay tuned for that. And, of course, every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, You'll see us right here on the College Loop Podcast. Thank you everyone tuning in. Thank you for tuning in to Summit College Podcast yet again. Like, comment, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on all social media platforms: Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, the works. All this is the College Loop. And of course, that being said, and as always, War Eagle.